Public procurement moves billions of dollars, but corruption doesn't announce itself with a flashing red light. It hides in plain sight, buried in thousands of noisy, user-generated comments, clarification requests, and procedural complaints. Auditors can't read every line. Traditional keyword matching fails on nuance. And while modern large language models are powerful, they're computationally expensive, struggle with severe class imbalance, and often sacrifice precision for recall. So how do you actually detect accusatory language in public procurement without burning through GPU clusters? This video breaks down a highly effective, cascaded hybrid NLP pipeline that combines unsupervised clustering with supervised classification to surface corruption signals in Ecuador's official procurement system. We'll dive deep into why a domain-adapted Word2Vec model actually outperformed fine-tuned transformers, how Gaussian mixture models isolate latent corruption patterns, and how a random forest classifier achieves near-perfect precision under extreme class imbalance. If you work in NLP, governance tech, or anti-corruption AI, this is a masterclass in pragmatic, deployable machine learning. Let's start with the data. Public procurement platforms like Ecuador's SOCE collect massive volumes of pre-contractual comments from suppliers and citizens. The signal is there, but it's heavily skewed. Out of roughly 5,000 annotated comments, only 143 are explicitly accusatory. That's a 3% positive rate. The data is also noisy. Misspellings, colloquialisms, administrative jargon, and repetitive phrasing are common. Cleaning it means removing sub-10-character entries, filtering out pure stopword sequences, deduplicating, and retaining only the text and binary labels. The result is a structured but brutally imbalanced dataset that demands careful architectural choices. The pipeline begins with embedding generation. The researchers evaluated 3 approaches: LLM 3.2 with 1 billion parameters, Word2Vec fine-tuned on the domain, and a custom Word2Vec model trained directly on the procurement corpus. All 3 use mean pooling to collapse token-level representations into fixed-length sentence vectors. LLM outputs 2,408 dimensions, Word2Vec outputs 768, and Word2Vec outputs 1,000. On the surface, you'd expect the transformer-based models to dominate. But when you project these vectors into a lower dimensional space using t-SNE, a fundamental architectural limitation emerges. Transformer-based embeddings suffer from severe anisotropy. In practice, this means the sentence vectors get compressed into a narrow cone within their high-dimensional space. The average cosine similarity skyrockets to 0.79 for LLM and 0.91 for Word2Vec. When everything looks equally similar, distance-based clustering algorithms lose their ability to discriminate. Word2Vec, trained from scratch on this specific noisy Spanish text, produces a much more isotropic distribution. Average cosine similarity drops to 0.36. Vectors spread out naturally, preserving domain-specific terminology, informal phrasing, and procurement jargon without the semantic compression that plagues pre-trained language models. This isotropic structure makes Word2Vec uniquely suited for the unsupervised stage. The researchers applied Gaussian mixture models to uncover latent structures in the unlabeled corpus. Why GMM over hard assignment methods like k-means? Procurement comments don't form clean, spherical clusters. GMM models the underlying probability distribution using full covariance matrices, allowing soft assignments and capturing overlapping semantic substructures. They evaluated cluster quality using silhouette scores, but here's a critical technical caveat. Silhouette scores are notoriously unreliable in high-dimensional embedding spaces due to distance concentration. As dimensionality increases, pairwise distances converge to nearly identical values, making compactness metrics misleading. Instead, they leaned on task-oriented evaluation, maximum accusatory phrases per cluster, relative accusatory frequency, and the proportion of total positive samples captured. The Word2Vec plus GMM configuration dominated, with the top cluster isolating over 85% of all known accusatory comments. But how do you automatically identify which cluster actually contains corruption signals? They used a lightweight, domain-expert keyword heuristic. Terms like corrupción, ilegal, prohibido, direccionado, and impossible were mapped across clusters. The cluster with the highest cumulative frequency of these lexical markers gets flagged as the most accusatory. This isn't just a heuristic. It's a robust, interpretable prefilter that concentrates positive samples while stripping away administrative noise. From over 92,000 unlabeled comments, the pipeline filters down to the most signal-dense subset. This filtered data feeds into the supervised classification stage. The dataset remains heavily imbalanced. They tested 3 classifiers: Gaussian naive Bayes, support vector machine, and random forest. To mitigate majority class bias, they applied SMOTE, or synthetic minority oversampling technique. SMOTE generates synthetic positive examples by interpolating between existing minority samples in feature space, effectively expanding the decision boundary for the positive class. They paired this with stratified k-fold cross-validation to prevent data leakage and ensure evaluation stability. The winner was random forest with SMOTE. It achieved a precision of 0.99 on the negative class and 0.84 on the positive class, with a recall of 0.91 for accusatory comments. The precision recall curve showed an average precision of 0.93, confirming that the model maintains high discriminative power even when the positive class is severely underrepresented. Accuracy would have been meaningless here. Average precision and stratified evaluation were essential. Now, does this architecture generalize to unlabeled, real-world data? That's the operational test. They applied the same Word2Vec GMM filtering to the full unlabeled corpus, then ran the trained random forest classifier on the filtered subset. The model flagged nearly 1,900 candidates. A manual spot check confirmed an empirical precision of 0.84, aligning perfectly with the supervised results. The pipeline isn't just academically sound, it's production-ready. Full training across all stages takes under 3 hours on standard CPU hardware. Inference for a single comment takes 1 to 3 seconds. No GPUs, no cloud costs, no token fees. Just a lean, reproducible system capable of near real-time auditing. The methodology is model-agnostic, but its regional deployment hinges on data infrastructure. Most Latin American procurement portals hide Q and A data in PDFs or locked HTML interfaces. Ecuador's SOCE is unusually structured, making it an ideal pilot. The authors note that future work should explore contrastive learning objectives, sentence BERT architectures, and joint optimization of clustering and classification to capture indirect or sarcastic accusations, which remain a blind spot. But for explicit procedural red flags, this cascaded pipeline delivers. The core lesson here is straightforward. You don't always need the largest, most expensive model to solve a hard problem. Sometimes, a domain-adapted embedding strategy, a probabilistic clustering approach, and a well-tuned ensemble classifier will outperform fine-tuned LLMs, especially when data is messy, imbalanced, and computationally constrained. This research proves that lightweight, transparent AI can be just as powerful as black box giants, and it gives oversight institutions a scalable tool to actually monitor public spending. If you want to reproduce the experiments, adapt the pipeline to your own domain, or dive into the full methodological details, the code and paper are linked in the description. Run the ablations yourself, test the clustering metrics on your own datasets, and think about how this cascaded architecture could apply to fraud detection, compliance monitoring, or any high-noise, low-signal classification task. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.